WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org.
And counting, and I am sitting here. I thought you gave me the high sign, Peter.
I gave you the stop sign.
That was a stop sign?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to fix something.
If it's six-sided, it's a stop sign.
Sure.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's Hawaii Shirt Tuesday.
I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt today for everybody who's not watching on television. Yeah, I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt. What do you think?
Jay, we didn't get the memo.
It's impressive, and you're right. If you had let us know, we would have had our own Hawaiian shirts on.
I don't know if I own them.
You have Hawaiian shirts.
Oh, of course. Doesn't everyone?
No.
Oh, never mind.
Let's be real now.
I wondered about that. You know, it's what's that line? There was a movie about all straight guys wear plaid. No. There's
flannel.
Something about, what is it?
I think it's flannel, Bob.
Is that what? Is that what it is?
No. No, maybe. Oh, it's flannel that is connected with He-Man, and plaid that's not connected with quote unquote He-Man. Right?
No, flannel is a thing because it's Paul Bunyan. You know, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, He-Man. That's what he's saying.
He-Man the Destroyer.
Right, that's what he's saying.
Big and strong. Whereas the plaid guy would probably be going to the office to work on stuff, I suppose.
It doesn't matter. But I like the Hawaiian shirt. Long story short.
But there was a movie, a movie with, who was the guy that, Steve Martin, or something about all blank men wear plaid.
Isn't it dead men don't wear plaid?
And
that's
you're right.
What it is.
That's what it is.
How did I know that?
Yeah, well, you're a Steve Martin fan.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
But that's sort of. But
why do I have a profile?
Because I wanted to. Why?
I love this. It's sort of like Mount Rushmore.
Rushmore? Rushmore's straight on. Rushmore is a straight on.
Oh, it's a straight on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but you could be over on the side next to Abe Lincoln there.
Well, you're looking at me from the from one side. So
yeah,
you're looking at me from the other side.
Wait a minute. I could hang on.
All right.
Now I can look Pete right in the face. Wait a minute. Oh, there it. Wait. Oh, never mind.
You have to become very small. Hey, everybody. My name is Bob Plass, if you haven't guessed already. It's Tuesday. Look at the sun is shining through.
We're so messed up.
Look, see, I'm in the sun right now. See it? It's coming up right over there. It's coming up into the at West 9th. Where am I?
West. It's kind of nice to have the sunbeam coming in the room. That's also
it's hitting me, and it's beautiful in here. Yeah, that voice right there is the well-modulated voice of my trusty, dusty, lusty, musty, and crusty sidekick, Jay Pagluka. And in the little box, if you're on watching us on WSKB. .com or streaming westfieldtv.org, where we're streaming live We're on Channel 15 in Southwick and Westfield. That little person in the box is
By the way, I'm
big,
lobbying for Agawam
big
now,
man
too.
on campus. Yeah, you're lobbying for what?
Agawam. They're picking up one of our shows because it's a town resident, but I'm trying to get them to carry all of our shows.
Hey, that's a great idea.
Then we would have a network.
We would be sort of like WAMC out of Albany, which has like 1,700 stations.
Across upstate New York, yes.
Really?
Yeah, we would be a network at 3 stations. Can't call it a network with 2.
Not to be confused with a network.
A not work. Well, speaking of not working, I'm here in my home during the umpteenth week of the coronavirus challenge that we're having, and I've had my own challenge this week. You know what the challenge has been?
What's the challenge been this week,
I
Bob?
look right in the camera for this. I am in the midst of fly wars. For some reason, we have had an influx of flies. Now, as both of you know, Peter Coles, the kitten of the keys, and JPEG Luca, my trusty sidekick, I try to live a Zen life, which means I don't kill anything.
Mellow.
I feel funny when I'm eating my broccoli, to tell you the truth.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
There we go. So I had to make a decision whether I was going to kill the 15th fly that I had seen that day or not. And now I have become the Darth Vader.
Oh, not too loud.
Of
Use
West
the small
Silver
gun.
Street.
It's a small fly. Use the small fly swatter.
Extreme prejudice.
No. I killed one today that I could have saddled. I'm telling you. Really. And I killed it. I've already killed 2 flies today. 2 flies. One little tiny baby fly and one bigger fly that was flying around in the bathroom. You don't want flies in your bathroom ever. For somebody who's toilet phobic, I do not want flies in my bathroom. And so, but what I've discovered, you guys, is that these flies, I don't know what they're eating or not, but they're not very smart. So, which means that once I start hitting them, instead of their usual fright or flight, once they've gotten over the fright and they need to flee, they're staying right put. They're going like 2 inches from where they are,
That's because
and they're
you
not
stunned
moving,
them.
or they're coming right back to where I started to kill them to begin with.
You started to kill.
Bob's giving him the stone cold stunner.
Either you stun them or you're just a really poor fly swatter. One or the other.
Oh,
you're supposed
James,
to get them in the first
yeah.
on the first whack.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm not using. I can't use the fly swatter.
What do you go after them with a spray can of Raid?
James broke the fly swatter this week. So that's how bad it is.
You need an electric fly swatter that just...
Is there an electric fly swatter?
Yeah,
I do. It looks like a tennis racket. It's battery powered.
You mean, but you're going to be hitting glass and on the walls with a tennis racket?
No. It looks like a tennis racket. You put it over them and they fly into it and then goodbye.
Well, that's assuming they're really stupid and fly towards the thing.
Well, apparently I'm living in the land of dumb here because they're all being killed. I mean, if I can kill a fly, anybody can kill a fly. To tell you what's the expression? He wouldn't kill a fly. Well, I've killed the fly. So look, I use a method where I take a Kleenex and I'm right behind them and I go toward them from their behind, because apparently they can see to the sides, but not in front. So I go straight on, and then that's my method. And then I've got them, and sometimes, if I'm kind, I go out and I leave them and let them fly away. Lately, it's been, I'm killing you, and that's it. I don't know. Am I going to have some kind of bad karma on this?
There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
If you're a fan of old Warner Brothers cartoons, that's hilarious.
Who was that?
That was
Wait a minute, I'll
Marvin
play it again. Hold on.
Marvin the Martian.
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Now, what was the weapon that he was using?
The Lucian P-38 modulator.
Space modulator.
Space modulator.
got
Illudium
it.
Q. Yeah, the Illudium Q-38 explosive
P-38.
space modulator.
The P-38
Yeah.
modulation.
And what was his dog's name?
Was it Spot or
Scooter?
something?
No, K9.
Oh, K9, yeah. that's it.
K9.
Oh, how clever is that? Really?
No, Warner Brothers had a sense of humor. Everybody, that must have been a fun time in the writers' lounge. The 50s and early 60s in the Warner Brothers studio was
Oh,
just
yeah.
must have been hilarious.
Was this Hanna-Barbera? Was he involved with this at all?
No,
No.
Hanna-Barbera
I mean, there are two
was
of them, Hanna and Barbera,
yeah,
but
right.
was Hanna?
Different company.
They were separate. That was the Flintstones, Jetsons, Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound.
Oh, that's right.
There was a whole series that was Hanna-Barbera back then.
Yeah, that's right. It's his birthday today, incidentally. Unfortunately, he's passed away, but it is
Hanna's
his
or
birthday.
Barbera's?
No, Hanna. William Hanna, his name is.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I was going to play something, and then I've got on another theme. We've got a theme going today on my music, and when we get to it,
Where's Vincent Price in all this?
Did he have a cartoon?
No, he was.
Was he the voice of the cartoon?
He was in the original The Fly.
The Fly. Oh my God, yes. But the second one was even worse. Because Vincent had just the head. Okay. Jeff Goldblum. Did you see that one with Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah. He was the whole
Oh my
Fly.
God, in the 80s? And he began to grow little fingers and little spidery things, and then he had the tongue and everything.
When was the original? That was around in the 50s, right? Wasn't that a 50s movie?
50s.
See,
so this
now-
was an 80s movie.
Right.
But
so,
it wasn't the 80s movie, Jay, was an allegory for the AIDS crisis, apparently. It was a love story between Gina Davis and The Fly. And how that worked was that he progressively got more of a that where no one liked him, or even he's a fly like we just talked about, and she had to decide. It was her boyfriend who by chance got into the machine, or no, how he was trying to do something, and the fly was in the machine that
he was
trying to do he was trying to do some kind of genetic thing or something.
Yeah.
But the original one was some kind of transporter, right? He was trying to learn to transport from one place to another.
That's right. Did somebody swat him in the end of it?
Well, yeah.
Do you remember?
Well, the original one,
Vincent
he
Price?
was caught. The original one, he was caught in a spider's web, and the last thing you heard was "Help me! Help
Oh
me!"
yeah.
Yeah, the little.
I mean,
squeaky
that's a
voice.
really that I would not want to be. Would you not want to come back as a fly? How long do they live, incidentally?
right
how
up
do
until,
Well, I don't know, Bob. You're feeding them pretty well. They could live forever.
they live right up until the point where you kill them.
Oh my God! I think I'm tracing it all back to those baby birds. Remember the baby birds
baby
that were in my
birds.
gutter?
You're
Yes.
saying those are responsible for your flies?
I know why. Because then we had the house painted, and I asked the painter to, bar up the area where the birds were. I think that he barred them up when there were people in them. He did one of those Edgar Allan Poe. God, I got a lot of illusions going today. That Edgar Allan Poe walling up the birds in the wall. And then he walled up the birds in the wall. They died, and then the flies came in somehow to the hole, and now they're in the cellar, and they're whatever. Our exterminator found a dead baby bird in the cellar yesterday. So you see, I don't know.
That would attract the flies, Bob.
Yeah, James has bought one of these what do you call it? It's like a spa for birds that lures them in and then kills them. It's not like those fly paper things. This is like it's a little purse. It's like a little purse, and it's sitting on the out there. I should go and get it and bring it in to show you,
Bob.
but
For a guy who doesn't want to kill a flea,
You have many ways to do so.
yes.
I know I have become the Darth Vader of West Silver Street.
Is that what it
Yes.
is? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. Hey, how's everything, you guys? Anything happening?
I think it's just amazing that we've blown the first 15 minutes of the show talking about killing flies.
Swatting flies, baseball. Is baseball coming back, incidentally?
Actually, Babe Ruth is already back. It's been back since the 6th. Babe Ruth
Oh,
baseball
really?
and Starfires.
Is Pro Ball back
End of the
this
month.
week? Is it the end of the month?
End of the month, yes.
Okay. Oh, it's I keep thinking the 16th, but it's 60 games. That's what it was.
Correct,
There was a
yes.
6 in there somewhere.
Yep.
So, all right,
Oh.
at least we'll be able to watch something on television. You know, if you need your
Sure.
sports fix, at least
Are they
something's
doing
coming.
Which
all
we
of
all
the
need.
games? Are they doing all of the games in one place, or are they going?
No, they're going to go to
spending all the money
everybody's.
to go to the town where they are.
Yeah, they're going to
even
go to the
though
next
people can't
ballpark. Yeah, they're going to play in their home ballparks. So if you're the Red Sox, your home games will be at home, and then you'll be on against other teams out there. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's still they still travel, whether it's a bus or a plane or whatever, but it's usually a charter anyway.
It's
I
plain.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that. No, that wouldn't work. To have one team on television in one place and one team. No, that doesn't work. You need to have a ball that's being thrown from place to place.
Now I
We
did
can't
find
play
a place.
cash here.
I did find a place online that you could buy cardboard cutout people to put in the audience.
They don't want to do that, though. Apparently, they're going to pump in crowd noise, though.
Yeah, you got to have the crowd noise to just minimize the camera pans to the audience.
But
No.
they could have a.
I like
Zoom-
what the Korean baseball leagues did. Did you hear what they did?
What?
No, what?
They bought life-size replicas of people and put them in the stands. But it turns out most of them were sex dolls, and they had to take them out.
Whoops.
Oh my God.
Well, that's why I say the cardboard cutouts was good. because
Cardboard cutouts
You
don't
could
work.
have a variety. You know, I mean, you
They
could have red
they
ones,
bought
blue
them
ones.
because they apparently they said that they were lifelike human
Not even close.
analogs.
Not that I know anything about that.
Jay,
I can't imagine. Yeah. Hey, I wondered though, if they could have a Zoom meeting of, let's say, an audience watching the show, one team's fans in one Zoom, and one team's fans in another Zoom, and when they could show them watching the game, and then when there's a home run, then all of those people would be cheering and
they
everything.
tried that during the NFL draft, and it didn't work all that well.
Oh, it didn't. Oh.
But what they did is they said the Red Sox said that you could record your best cheer for different things, like a home run.
Yeah.
You individually on your phone could record your best cheer for a home run, a strikeout, if you want to heckle somebody. And apparently they were going to mix. They were going to mix all those together and play them. Multi-track, mix them together, and play them at different times.
And
And you can submit those on the Red Sox website.
On the bottom of the screen, you can have little scrolls of everyone's tweets.
Oh, that's good. No, that's a great idea. As long as you get somebody.
Well, somebody has to edit them, but you know.
Mean
censoring
tweets.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mean
that's
tweets.
that's a terrific idea. That's a terrific idea. So when is the first game so that we can look for it?
I think it's the 24th or 25th of July.
24th or 25th. And Peter, you said that our semi-professional league, the Starfires,
They're playing
Uh,
already.
they started last week because I
Yes,
know
they
we
did.
have a banner up there at Bullens Field.
Yes.
And yeah, so they're playing, and they're playing safely for one.
Yep.
I know that the seats are far apart, and they only allow certain people in.
Well, and
the
also they
stadium.
have a real low-cost, apparently, online subscription service, so you can watch the games using our camera behind home plate failed over the winter.
Oh.
So they bought a new one, and they're
Mhm.
using all three cameras, and they're doing live play-by-play and streaming. So if you don't
Wow.
feel comfortable going to the ballpark and you want to watch Starfires, they have a low-cost streaming service.
So, and that's great to know. Starfire. So, is Donnie Morehouse doing the play-by-play?
No, he's not. They have a college kid doing it. Kid from
Ah.
Springfield College
I
who
got
does a lot of their play-by-play.
Well, that's really great.
I'd love
That's
if
really
Donnie
great.
did some play-by-play. That'd be great.
Yeah, Donnie is the owner or one of the co-owners of this. That's who. He used to be on the radio. He's a really great radio personality.
Donnie Morehouse.
And
yeah.
he's the critic of the music critic of the Springfield Republican. Lives right here in Westfield.
Correct, yes.
And Mass Live. Yeah. Hey, you also said Babe Ruth. So the Babe Ruth League is also.
They started
meeting.
July 6th.
And how is that going with the children?
I think it's going fine so far. I know they put out put out a Facebook post saying, hey, we really encourage you to wear your mask if you're going to sit together, because a lot of kids have been sitting together in the stands.
Yes. Yeah.
We really encourage you to wear your masks, and because kids think they're invincible and things like that.
Oh, I know.
Not that they're completely immune to the virus, but most of them don't develop symptoms. Let's just say that.
Yes. Yeah.
But you're still not, nobody's out of the woods, and you shouldn't bring it home to your family and all that kind of stuff. So, hey, kids, if you're there watching the game, either distance, you're loud enough as kids. We all know you're very loud. So, so you can talk to your friends still. Or wear a mask. That's all. Easy choice.
And you can talk through a mask. You can be heard through a mask.
But kids are pretty loud. They could occupy a whole section.
See, I put my mask on, and you can hear me just fine.
I have 14 over here that James seems to have. I'm sitting at James' desk, so I don't know. Here's the one that is the leopard. This is when we want to go out to the zoo.
When's your laptop coming in, by the way, Bob?
Oh my God! Let me tell you about that experience. This is a black one, and then I have the nurse's one right here. So hey, I went for the first time to Best Buy to buy my computer. And have you been to a big box store yet?
Not since the pandemic hit.
March, no.
Yeah, this was really something. So James and I go over to the mall, and it is popping busy. Honest to God.
Really?
And we were going. I said we're only going in the entrance, just to the Best Buy, because we're going straight in. We're going straight to the computer department, then to the air conditioning department, and then we're leaving. So I walk in the door. Believe it or not, it was really great. Before I walked in the door, there was hand sanitizer. Once upon a time, Bob and James needed an air conditioner. So we went to Big Buy. I drove in a very big white car. Wow, Bob, you drive good. Yeah. So at any rate, we walk into the store, and the guy at the register says, you have to register here. So you give your name and your telephone number for contact tracing, number one. Okay. Number two, he says to you, why are you here? And wear the mask. You can't get in here without.
Those are really not requirements by the state, but okay.
Yeah, no, but this is really very good. I felt so safe. And we were 6 feet apart. And then he said, what do you want? And I said, I'm looking for a computer. He said, go over to the computer department and stand on that line over there. You have there's a place to stand. You stand there and you wait for somebody to come over who puts you on the list so that if you need help, that you then get it. Okay. So we went over there. I was online. I made a couple of phone calls. It was about 15 minutes. And then the woman came over and said, what do you want? And I told her that I needed an HP Pavilion, just like you guys had recommended. And I had all the numbers. And she said, well, there's a big wait. There are about 15 people ahead of you. So you're going to have, if you want, you can go over to the customer service area. So I went over to the customer service area, Peter. Waited in line again, maybe 10 minutes. This is the thing. If you're going to go to one of these box stores and you're going to be safe, you have to know, or if you're a store like Best Buy, you have to know that there are going to be long waits. So you bring something to occupy your time, maybe even bring a book if you wanted to. I just recommend that. So at any rate,
I'd buy a little iPad to read while I was in line, but it would take me.
You could. You could steal an iPad, or you have to.
No, you'd borrow one. You'd borrow a demo. You see, but I'd buy one, but I'd have to wait in a line to buy one.
You would have to wait in a line to get it. So the man told me, yes, they had it, and they had it in stock, but it was $780 or something. I said, wait a minute, the one I want is $599. He said, well, it went off sale yesterday. So suddenly, James and I looked at one another and said, we're getting an air conditioner and we're getting this. Can we afford it today? And there was that immediate sort of, no, it's $200 more than we had afforded. So we bought an air conditioner, which is in the other room here. It's doing really well for our first floor area in this office. And that's really that was a real good purchase given my penchant to hate flies and the heat. And so, at any rate, I am still without an HP. However, Peter, I went online and I found it on their .com, HP.com, has the same prices, lower prices indeed, than
If you want to
the
get
one
even
that
lower, Bob, and you look at the spec sheet, I can put you under the HP outlet,
Oh,
where they get stuff off lease and things like that from corporations.
well, that would be great.
If
I
you
wonder
know
if
your
they have
specs
my-
or your model number, then you can find it on the HP outlet. You generally.
I do have the specs because of you guys. You're now both Kenny and you are my gurus. At any rate, hey, before we talk,
Except you know what?
What?
You just made the list.
Oh no! Oh, here we go.
I love it. Making the list. No, we're not doing making the list, but the theme for today is live at Carnegie Hall. And I decided I was going to play, I'm playing Judy Garland later, live at Carnegie Hall.
Wait a minute. Before we
Sorry.
go further, is
Yeah.
it Carnegie or Carnegie? Or does it depend on how much money you have?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's Carnegie,
Carnegie
actually.
Hall.
It's
I'm thinking
Carnegie.
Carnegie Hall.
No, it's Carnegie. Actually, he's Scottish. He's Scottish. It's Carnegie. If you look at the history, the way the history's saying, it's Carnegie.
Oh. But okay. But in
We
New
all
York
say
City-
Carnegie, but it's actually Carnegie.
Carnegie Hall just rolls off the tongue a
Right.
little easier. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
But the
well, when
traditional
you're living
Scottish
in New
is
York City,
Carnegie.
The New Yorkers call it Carnegie Hall.
Yeah, no, I know.
However-
Most people do.
Yeah, but New
Yeah.
York doesn't know how to talk.
But Carnegie is the way that you would say this because he was a Scottish. Was he an oil baron or no? Did he have railroad?
Carnegie
trains or
Steel. He started in
Steel.
railroads and then Carnegie Steel.
something? You are absolutely right. You win the trip to.
I
Ludlow.
watched the History Channel how America was made or something like that. The men
Oh,
who
that was a good-
the
that
men
was
who
a
made
good
America.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah, Men Who Made America.
It was a great series.
Yeah. So okay, so I'm going to play a lot of live versions of songs from Carnegie Hall, and since today is Bastille Day, we're going to play the one at 7:30. I'm going to ignore the one that I was going to play, which was Sting, because we've talked right straight through the first half hour, and I'm going to go directly to Edith Piaf. Do you know who Edith Piaf is, you guys?
No.
You have no idea.
No.
Jay,
No.
help.
Help?
Neither one of you know Edith Piaf.
I want to
Okay.
phone a friend, Bob.
I feel so inadequate.
Okay, her last name is spelled Piaf. Oh, there's a fly. Oh my God. I'm gonna get through this. Okay, so Edith Piaf was this great French star, very much like Judy Garland. She was thin as a waif. She began her life singing on the streets of Paris. She became this worldwide phenomenon. She had lots of boyfriends, and when you hear her, you'll know it is Paris, it is France, and she
Picture it.
came
Wait,
to America.
back up to the lots of boyfriends. What are you really saying, Bob?
She was sexually active. I don't know what that means. But at any rate, her big hit, the one that you're going to know is La Vie en Rose. And if you want to see a great performance, Marie Cotillard plays Edith Piaf in the movie La Vie en Rose. And so here she is live at Carnegie Hall singing La Vie en Rose.
Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. thought that love was just a word they sang about in songs I heard. It took your kisses to reveal that I was wrong, and love is real. Hold me close and hold me fast, the magic spell you cast. This is love, your rose. When you kiss me, heaven sighs, and I close my eyes. I see love, your rose. When you press it to your heart, I'm in a world apart, a world where roses bloom. And when you speak, angels sing from above. Everyday words seem to turn into love songs. Give your heart and soul to me, and life will always be love, your rose. La, 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 la.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
This is Ken Stomsky from Ken's Den on WCPC 15 and 89.5 FM, Tuesdays, 8 to 10.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Wow, it is Tuesday morning. It is Bastille Day, July 14th, 1779. That was is that Bastille Day the original? They stormed the Bastille, and it wasn't during the French Revolution, incidentally. I think it was during the Students' Revolt back then.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah. But at any rate, Bastille Day is really celebrated in Paris. And did you recognize that voice, you guys?
Somewhat.
You know that song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Edith Piaf.
Okay.
Would you repeat the name for me so that you put it for your cocktail in case you run into a Frenchman and you want to throw out a French name?
Edith Piaf.
There you are. All right. Now,
Jay's not paying attention.
My question to you is, if I gave you the word French blank, I think there are a lot of things that are French.
Horn.
Well, mustard.
French mustard.
Oh, that's French.
French's mustard.
That's French's. Never mind. What?
French's mustard. Oh, I got it. But there is French mustard. It's called Dijon. All right. So, Peter,
yes?
Your turn. French what?
Horn.
French horn. What makes a French horn a French horn?
I think it's the curves.
Oh, horn. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's the curves.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's and it
the way
has
it's
a
curved.
really kind of muffled kind of tone to it. It's really lovely. French horn. I'll say French fries, right?
They're not French, though. They're Dutch.
I thought they were
They
freedom
are
fries.
Frites are Dutch, I believe. They came
Frites?
from They were fried, and the Danish did them first.
What about
really?
What about poutine?
That's Canadian.
Oh,
That's French poutine. I don't think they call it French poutine.
It's
They call it probably French Canadian.
it's
poutine.
French fries with all kinds of crap on it.
Oh my God! It's just no. It's curd. It's cheese curd.
I don't
Right,
care.
isn't it?
This is even
It's
better,
pretty
yeah.
good.
Oh
See?
really? Oh my God! I find it really awful.
If you look
It's
up French
probably one
fries,
of the-
No, it
yeah.
just sounds awful, and then when you tell somebody you put cheese curds on it, it sounds worse. But it tastes
Really?
pretty good.
it is disputable, but the place of origin was Belgium.
Belgium.
Sorry, Belgium.
And Belgium people. What do they call Belgians? Belgians eat their French fries with mayonnaise, as do some other countries like Amsterdam. So when you buy them on the street, you get a side of mayonnaise. And I love to eat my French fries with mayonnaise. Do you eat yours with anything in particular?
Tartar
Is it just
sauce.
ketchup?
Tartar sauce is good, or
Tartar
if
sauce is good, yeah.
I've mixed it with hot sauce, mayo and hot sauce.
See,
is
my
good.
problem is I get fish and chips, and I always ask for extra tartar sauce because I hate the taste of fish, so I always, slather tartar sauce,
see.
which bears the question: why the heck do you order fish and chips? There was a place in West Side. Remember?
No.
that
Calamari's?
No. What was north of that? It used to have the best fish and chips. It was a pub.
The Crest Room.
No,
No,
it's
on the main
across-
drag?
Yeah, it's across from the Outback. I can't remember what it used to be.
Oh yeah, that was Vincent's, and then it was Piccadilly
It's been
Pub.
Piccadilly Pub. When it was the pub, it had
yeah.
some great fish and chips. But the best I've ever had is Arthur Treacher's.
Really?
Yeah, Arthur
The
Treacher's.
mass produced.
Yeah.
There's a little place down in Watch Hill called George's of Galilee, and it's right on the water, and the fish literally comes off the boat across the street.
They jump off the boat?
Absolutely.
Really?
Then
Yes.
they jump into the batter, and then they jump into the oil.
And their
Then
seafood,
They jump into your arms.
their seafood is incredible, and you know what they make the best? They make
And
the
you
best
thought-
clam fritters.
And you thought your flies were dumb. Clam fritters, a whole belly fried clams.
Oh, man.
There's
Oh,
nothing
God.
better. Marion,
Nothing. You and me.
Marion
Yeah,
loves whole belly fried clams, and
Yeah,
around here there's a couple of restaurants around here that have whole belly. 7B's, up at the Butcher Block will have occasionally. will
Really?
have,
Oh my God! I
whole
gotta
belly
try
clams.
this.
Yeah, so there's a running contest now between with Marion as to who's got the best fried clams, because up until now, it was a place in Wells, Maine, or Gunkwit, Maine, called Jake's, and 2 years ago, Jake's went away. Somebody else owns it, and it ain't the same. So it's not even called Jake's anymore. So we don't. So the good news is I don't have to drive to Maine to get fried clams.
You know, it's really interesting because it's basically the same recipe, isn't it? You're dipping the batter. I guess the batter is made differently.
It's all about the batter
Yeah.
and how crispy the batter is, and
What
how
the spices are in it.
Yes, it's all.
By
about
the way-
batter.
They all have to have some kind of crunch, you know.
Oh, those are the ones you leave the sand in.
Yeah.
Hey, can
You
we
know
throw
that-
North Elm Butcher Block a shameless plug?
Sure.
Oh, please.
They've been having lunch specials every day, and today is their Tailgate Tuesday, right? Smoked fried chicken wings for $1 each. Dirt dogs for $5. Cheeseburger chowder tater tots. I don't know what that is, but it sounds tasty.
Cheeseburger chowder.
Tater tots.
Tater
filled
tots.
with probably cheeseburger chowder in the middle.
Maybe, I don't
That
know.
would sound good.
Sausage, peppers, and onions for $7.
Never go wrong with peppers and onions.
Store-made smoked kielbasas,
Ooh.
$6.
Ooh.
A cheeseburger,
Wow.
$5, and a hot dog, $2. So that means they're cooking outside on the
Can
grill
Can I
slash
get
smoker.
it all?
You can, yeah, but they're starting at 11 o'clock for lunch. I think they go
Okay.
from like 11
The
to 1.
lines, I've driven by, and the lines have been very long there at lunch.
Yes, they
Seven
doing
B's-
depends on what they're
Rankles,
doing.
who's that?
7B's does barbecue up there too. Go online to find out the schedule for these. There's
Yeah,
a bunch
this
of
is
great
other-
restaurants, and I love barbecue. Marion
Butcher
doesn't
Block
like
puts it on their
yeah.
Instagram account.
Yeah. So,
Uh-huh.
but check them out. The restaurants all over town. Yeah, obviously the tavern's been open all along.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
go
all the
inside
restaurants,
to
yeah.
most of them. The Wings place is still doing
You know,
takeout.
in Great
Hang
Barrington,
on.
what they've done, Great Barrington has that. They have that railroad street. There's, it's right near the main part of town,
Right near
around
the
corner
railroad.
from the. Yeah,
That's why they
right
call
near
it
the railroad.
Railroad Street. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've shut it down, and all of the restaurants have gone to the center of the street. So down
that's
the
kinda
center of the
neat.
street.
Okay.
Yeah, and so down the center of the street, 6 feet apart, are the tables, etc.,
What a
etc.
great idea.
Yeah, and Pittsfield has really done a great job. Massachusetts has done a great job with coronavirus, and Pittsfield especially has nobody ill at all.
That's 'cause they stopped
in that
testing.
Great Barrington area.
Neither does Westfield. We're either 0 or 1
Yeah.
Yeah.
every day. Oh, by the way, one other shout out for Butcher Block. This
No,
one
sure.
you may have to. Thursday, their lunch is smoked prime rib sandwiches with grilled onions and horseradish sauce. Oh,
They
yummy.
always do something with prime rib on Thursdays.
Yummy.
Do they have French fries for Bastille Day?
You can call them and ask. Well, I think the tater tots would probably be close.
French tater tots. Yes. Yeah. Well, it's Bastille Day. We've wasted another 10 or 15
41
minutes.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing very well today, really. I'm trying to be politics free.
I'm with you on
today?
that. I'm burnt out.
About time.
Yeah, I am just burnt out.
I stopped
I'm
watching the
close-
news about a month and a half ago.
Oh yeah. Well, I actually I got my Fordham. I went to Fordham for my social work degree in my 50s. Did you know that? And so I get the Fordham magazine all the time. And there is a writer who has a podcast called Pausecast. Pause, like we take a pause. And her name is Rachel O'Meara. She graduated from Fordham, and in 2004. But she's got a book, Life-Changing Power of Giving Yourself a Break. So these are the 3 things that she recommends during this challenge, the Corona Challenge. Belly breath pause. Take 1 deep, intentional breath. Work up to 10 intentional breaths. So
Is it like that?
we could do it for 10 times, but that's one.
That would be
Digital
very boring
device.
radio.
Yeah, really. Everybody do it together. Oh my God, wait a minute. I got Tony Bennett on here. Wait a minute, I got to turn it off. I don't know how that happened. I leaned in the wrong way. Never lean in the wrong way, incidentally.
I thought it was never Cattywomper. Or
Yeah, that's
Cattywampus,
right.
or whatever it is.
Digital device pause. Screen fatigue, anyone? Create a new recharge rule or ritual. No news after 6 p.m. maybe, or only 15 minutes of social media a day. I'm on Sundays now, or Saturdays, taking a social media day. And I'm not looking at the phone. I'm not calling.
I've been
I'm
not really doing that either, Bob.
Yeah.
I'm much happier now that I'm not doing news or social media.
Mm.
I live my
I've got
life.
to do some news. I have to,
I can't. I watch the weather and I watch the first 15 minutes of news in the morning, and that's all I can handle.
Oh, no,
Because
I have to
otherwise, I
watch
just get an upset stomach.
Yeah. Well, I need to get that dose of anger every day,
No, you really don't, Bob.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
I am literally
Okay.
a much happier person without it.
Well, okay, so listen to this. Expressing pause, which is this. Give yourself the gift to express yourself. We are all having a lot of feelings right now. Write or journal. Dance. Name a feeling. Name your feelings. Have a conversation. When we express ourselves, we honor how we feel as we connect with ourselves or others. The benefit is we feel recharged, more alive, and more engaged afterward. So the idea that we have a conversation rather than screaming at one another in this pandemic world of politics, that is really helping us to ground ourselves. So I want everybody to go on. It's called Pausecast, and it's a podcast featuring interviews with experts on emotional intelligence and mindfulness. And the woman's name is Rachel O'Meara. Okay? All righty. Now, let me see. I'm going to play Tony Bennett at Carnegie Hall. Tony Bennett his career was going nowhere until he had, like Judy Garland, like others, he had these pauses in his career. He's in his golden years. He's really been
In his olden
ever
years?
since. Oh, he did that MTV special Unplugged, and he moved his career to another generation. And in the 60s, he did the same thing with Carnegie Hall. He had the big hit of I Left My Heart in San Francisco. So it's one of the best live albums ever, live at Carnegie Hall. So I'm going to play you a cut from Live at Carnegie Hall with Tony Bennett. And which song am I playing, Peter? I don't know which song are you playing more precisely?
One for the Road.
Oh, yeah. One for the Road, written by our friend Harold Arlen and Johnny Mercer. Just the greatest song ever. It's an up tempo version of One for the Road. Hey, bartender, give me One for the Road. My relationship is over and I need a drink. That's basically what it says. So here's One for the Road. Tony Bennett, live at Carnegie Hall.
Well, it's 2:45. There's no one in the place except you and me. Set 'em up, Joe. I've got a little story you ought to know. We're drinking, my friend, to the end of a brief episode. So make it one for my baby, one more for the road. I've got the routine. Drop another nickel in the machine. I'm feeling so bad, I wish you'd make the music dreamy and sad. I could tell you a lot, but you've got to be true to your code. So make it one for my baby, one more for the road. Now you'd never know it, but buddy, I'm a poet, and I've got a lot of things to say. When I'm gloomy, you gotta listen to me before they're all talked away. Well, that's how it goes. Joe, I know you're getting anxious to close. Thanks for the cheer. I hope you didn't mind my bending your ear. This torch that I found must be drowned or it soon might explode. Make it one for my baby, one more for the road. That long, long, that long, long road.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Join me, Tina Gorman, each week from 6 to 8 a.m. for Wake Up Wednesday, when my guests and I discuss health, wellness, and lifestyle reimagined.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Yeah, that's your cue, Bob.
Hello, boys. Hey, I killed another fly. Yeah, I killed another fly.
Okay.
You're supposed to congratulate me or say something other than...
Where's the applause, Pete?
Yeah.
No, Bob.
No.
For a man who says, I don't know, your claims at the beginning of the show are not holding up.
No, I'm not. I'm turning into a ruthless killer. This
Extreme prejudice.
This is terrible.
Yes.
This is terrible. I need to go. I need to go to a concert or a drive-in movie. How's that for a segue?
A drive-in movie, speaking of drive-in movies, is going to be happening behind the Boys and Girls Club this Saturday night. You can go to the Boys and Girls Club of Westfield website, and you can sign up there, and it's free of charge for you and your family. It'll be a family movie. I think they haven't announced there what it is.
I called yesterday to find out what the movie was, and
they still weren't telling you.
No. They had a movie picked out, but then they got the opportunity to perhaps get a bigger movie, an incredibly wonderful movie that every family in town is going to want to see. Although only 150 cars can be brought in, and you have to register ahead. You just can't go.
Yeah.
I think Joe Didi's starting his next week too.
Yeah, I think
Southwick.
It's the 20. Is it 28th or so?
It's nice
somewhere.
At least
I
we
think
have
it's next
some
week.
kind of at least we have some entertainment happening that you can go to with your friends and practice social distancing.
Sure. The drive-in movie, the Saturday night at the drive-in at the Boys and Girls Club, is sponsored by the Boys and Girls Club for a donation. If you're going and you're going to enjoy an evening, give them a donation because they do such great work with kids. And this time of year, they need it a lot, especially with our coronavirus challenge. I also want you to know that the man next to me, trustee sidekick here, and his partner, Gaslight Entertainment, are helping to put it on, as well as the major sponsor is Westfield on Weekends. And Westfield on Weekends has all kinds of information going on about what's happening in town. And you can go to our Facebook page, Westfield on Weekends, or you can go to westfieldonweekends.com to find out all about those things. Hey, Jay, is there going to be a concert at the end of August?
As a matter of fact, there is. Tickets are going to be going on sale this week for a Led Zeppelin tribute called Kashmir. I've worked with them before. They're a great band out of the Boston area. These guys are incredible. If you've never seen, even if you've seen Led Zeppelin, go way back into my younger days.
Sure.
And these guys, they do a really, really good show. And that's going to be.
Do they look like Led Zeppelin?
They do, yeah. And now, granted, in a drive-in environment, you're going to be a little further away from the stage, but you'll certainly hear it. And it's going to be the same place in the field behind the Boys and Girls Club. This is going to be to benefit the Boys and Girls Club. And tickets are on sale right now at purplepass.com. And they will be on sale as of tomorrow over at Rocky's in downtown Westfield. So if you'd like to go over there and check it out.
Oh, that's great.
And it's just $80 a car. So, think about that.
That's for 4 people or 5 people?
4 people in the car. And I think I got to double check. I think it's up to 4 people and then $20 a person after that. But you know what? $20 to get into a concert is a pretty darn good deal.
Could I come alone and pay $20 to bring my car in?
No.
With only me in it?
No, you got to bring your friends.
Oh, all right. So you got to get 3 or 4 people.
Right, $80 a car. Yeah,
it's terrific. No,
well, you're figuring it's going to take up a lot of space. Not only imagine, and we're safely distancing all of these vehicles. Same thing as when we do the movie. We're not parking everybody right next to each other. Imagine a parking lot with a car in every other space, and and the space to the driver's side of the car, or as you're facing the stage to the left of the car, that's your space. It's the size of a typical parking space. So you
can get out of the car?
Yeah, you bring your chairs, you can hang out outside. We're going to have a modest sound system from the stage, but it's also all going to be broadcast on FM, so you can listen to it in your car. And considering some of today's car radios, that's probably a pretty good option.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. And when does I know that the movies start at 7:30.
Movies. Well, the gates open at 7:30.
The gates open at 7:30, and then it's at dusk.
At 8:30, yeah, a little after 8:30. The concert's going to start at 7. So
you don't need to be dark for that.
No, No, although we will have some lights out there because it will be dark by the end of the concert, but it should be fun. We're going to have, actually, there's going to be an opening act for it as well, and off the top of my head, I can't remember who he is, but he's from down in Connecticut area, someone who has opened for our promoter before. So
it's a Led Zeppelin tribute, right?
Yeah, it is. It's called Kashmir.
Is Kashmir the name of one of their albums? Is that
one of their songs?
One of their songs, yeah.
Oh, really? Is it about a sweater?
No.
Well, what does Kashmir... Really? What is Kashmir?
You know, every now and then this show just takes a turn for the bizarre.
Bob might actually like this. I like this version of it.
Oh, I get it. Oh, yeah, I've heard that song. It has a certain Middle Eastern feel to it.
Yes.
Well, if the Middle East has a lot of strong percussion, I don't recall they do, but okay.
It sounds like a belly dance kind of song.
Well, the very opening did, yeah.
Yeah.
But otherwise, there's strings and other things. Yeah.
So, Jay, tell us how to get those tickets again.
You can go out to purplepass.com, or you can go down to Rockies as of tomorrow, and you can buy Rockies in downtown Westfield, and you can get your tickets right there. Thanks for the folks at Rockies for helping us out. The guys at Rockies, they always help out when we're selling tickets for the benefits here in town, like the high school band benefits.
Yes,
we did Beatlemania last year. So it's just, that's everybody in town coming together. Also have to thank the city of Westfield, who've really been great about helping us really put some great stuff together, including the movies, including our concert. It takes a lot of people to make this all happen. A lot of
oh my God, yeah, the
so
police. You really need the police there, helping to move the cars in and stuff.
Well, we have a lot of volunteers. Yeah, we have a handful of volunteers that'll help you park safely. We're gonna, if you have in fact, we encourage you to bring a small car. You will tend to be a little further towards the front and the middle. So if you have a small sedan, or you can all squeeze into a mini or a smart car, those are going to be up front.
I'm going to call my friends at the Shriners, and I'm going to bring
the clown car.
The clown car with my 10 friends.
But trucks and large SUVs, you guys will be off to the sides and out to the back. So smaller the car you bring, the better, and it's going to be a good time.
Wonderful. And you have to have a reservation or a ticket.
You got to have a ticket, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Hey, everybody. It's close to Kevin Coughlin, Duke of Dentistry time. And I want to play yet one more song. Hey, this is Sweet Honey in the Rock. I'm watching a great series, incidentally. You got to watch it. It's called The African Americans. I'm trying to learn everything I can about every other race in the world. And during this time, I think it's important to do that. And the African Americans is produced by Henry Louis Gates. He's that wonderful black professor who does the Roots thing, the show about the roots. You find your roots, et cetera, et cetera. And he has designed this series to really show where the African American in him had come from, and does it by telling stories about them. And I gotta recommend it. I'm learning so much about the folks that I didn't know. In Stockbridge, there is the grave of Mum Bett. Mum, like M-U-M, B-E-T-T. And she challenged the Constitution of the United States and won in Massachusetts about being free. And her lawyer, incidentally, his name was Sedgwick. He is, they did a segment on him, on Kara Sedgwick, who is married to Kevin Bacon, believe it or not. And she's related to Sedgwick, who was the attorney for Mum Bett. Mum Bett is an incredible story. I don't know why they've never done a movie on her. And she won, a slave, won against the government, the federal government, around the Constitution. And this was back in the late 1700s. So I recommend you guys to watch The African Americans. So I'm going to do Sweet Honey in the Rock, that great, great, great group. and it's a song called Peace. During it, they says, we remember the names, or we write the names. So let's not forget the names of all those like Mumbet and people who have gone before us, who worked so hard for equality. So here is Peace, Sweet Honey in the Rock.
On my school desk, I write down pages. Anyone ever read? I write on echoes of my childhood. What they has played on my faded thread. Oh, so living lake of the fields across the horizon. On shadows behind on the sun. On crazy mountain, on footpaths that wake on highways that are flowing over. I write your name. I write your name. I write on that fruit, my mirror, on my bedroom shelf, on my tree and affectionate door, upward the spring bottom, my door, on the top, on the fire, on each body, on every outstretched hand, without loveliness behind the stairway to heaven, one danger, one face, hope. I write your name. I write your name. And by the way, of one word, I write my story over again. I was born to know you and call you by your name. I write your name. Peace.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
Support for community radio on WSKB provided by Westfield Electroplating. Employing over 140 skilled platers, painters, and technicians, Westfield Electroplating was founded in 1946 and was the first company in the country to achieve National Aerospace and Defense Contractor Program accreditation, proudly maintaining that status for over a decade. Westfield Electroplating provides over 50 quality finishes to meet your corrosion, cosmetic, or performance needs. On the web at www.westfieldplating.com or 413-568-3716. Westfield Electroplating, putting the finishing touches on technology.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every Friday at 8 a.m. for Arts Beat, where you'll meet interesting actors, directors, designers, and musicians here in Western New England.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Wow, it is Tuesday morning. It is Bastille Day, everyone. July 14th, 2020, and counting. I'm here with the kitten of the keys. There he is in the little box. That beautiful voice that does cat imitations is the well-modulated tones of my trusty, dusty, and lusty, crusty sidekick, JPEG Luca.
Some
and
days more
joining
crusty
us
than
for
others.
this. Pardon?
Some days more crusty than others.
Are you crusty today?
No, I'm quite fine.
Oh, good. Very good. Because we have a great guest. You know who he is? He is the Duke of Dentistry, direct from his home in East Long Meadow, I think, maybe, or someplace else. Kevin Coughlin. Kevin, are you there?
I am. Can everybody hear me?
I can. I can't see
Kevin.
you, but we
Good
can
morning,
hear
Dr.
you.
Coughlin.
We're gonna get you a video camera, Kevin.
Yeah. Oh, there. What is that?
That's all right. You have him quite well dressed here.
He's checking his voicemail.
Hey, Kev. Oh, my God.
Are we all set?
Oh, yes, we are on the air.
Oh,
Are you checking your messages, Kevin?
For delivery options. What's
it does
this?
seem quite odd.
Yeah, well, we'll talk until he comes back. Wait a minute. Yeah. This is what happens in the
world of technical challenge.
I think we're correct right now.
Oh yeah, there just seems to be that annoying woman
Yeah,
on
there's
the phone that keeps talking.
Can you hear that, Kevin?
To cancel this message,
Oh, I don't think he can hear us.
this message now. Press pound or hang up.
I think he keeps swapping us over. He was checking his voicemail and then he was swapping over.
Pete, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. We just keep hearing.
Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
There.
Okay,
Let's
maybe it
hope
hung
that's
up
the last
finally.
click.
I think you were on a
think it's
conference
that.
call with yourself.
Everybody can hear me. I want to say thanks to Jay, Pete, and Bob for having me. And I guess we have a lot to talk about with this
of course.
COVID-19 and how it's affecting the healthcare profession, correct?
Oh, we sure do, Kev. How have you been?
We've been very well. I think like most businesses, we've suffered and are still suffering, but in the end, I think everybody will resolve to improve the quality of care and service, and we'll get back to, quote, a more normal life.
Yeah. Hey, Dr. K, we got to tell everybody where you're from. You are the Duke of Dentistry, and I've named you that, but other people have called you that, I'm sure. You own Ascent Dental you own Ascent Dental and then Ascent Dental Solutions, and then there is a spa attached to something there as well.
Correct. We're in the midst of opening what I will consider probably the #1 med spa anywhere, actually.
Really? Wow.
Several $1 million worth of lasers, intense pulse light, radio frequency, Modis, which is the #1 hair removal laser in the world, has just been purchased by Ascent. And I can tell you as a customer of my own business, it's the first hair removal system that I've had used that really created literally no pain, and actually in 3 to 5 visits did the job that they promised.
You're kidding me.
I can tell you, in the med spa business, many times promises are made and the results are less than ideal. But this is one of those companies and systems that has actually delivered and, in my opinion, gone above and beyond what they've promised. So it's anyone who's had hair removal of any type. It's generally effective, but there can be some pain and discomfort associated with it.
Yes.
And generally, there's what we call vellus hair that ultimately ends up coming back. And this system has really been spot on. So I'm certainly not the only med spa in the area with it, but I believe in Western Massachusetts, no one else has the Motus hair removal system. Yeah. And I can tell you it's done a fantastic job.
Is your spa open yet? Is it open?
Yes, the spa is open. What I did is I have 5,000 square feet that I'm in the process of renovating for this new spa situation. So with COVID, we had to put a little slowdown just because of work stoppages. But other than that, I would expect that to be fully operational in the next 3 or 4 months.
Hey, Kev, I'm wondering, you are certainly somebody who helps new businesses to start, new dentists to get their practice going, et cetera, et cetera. Have you ever seen anything like this as far as business is concerned in your lifetime?
No. As a matter of fact, the statistics have said that more dentists have gone bankrupt in this particular time frame than in the history of the profession. And you have multiple things affecting not just dentistry, but all businesses. Number one, you have dentists that want to be open to provide care and service.
Sure.
They don't have enough team members to support them. In other words, people don't think about it, but anybody who's called a service company and tried to get service,
Right.
Many times they want to help you, they just don't have enough employees to provide the service and care to keep you open. So you need a dental office where the actual dentist is healthy and unafraid to be open. And
Mm-hmm.
then that office has to have enough team members to support it. And then the final part of the equation is you have a vast number of customers with different wants and needs. You have customers that really feel that it's just unnecessary. They just don't want to take that risk of coming in and potentially being exposed. And then you have other customers that are saying, hey, look, I just got back to work. You got to find a convenient time for me to come in because
Yeah.
I can't take time off from work since I've been off of work for the last 3 to 4 months. And then you have the cost of operation. I think anyone who's paid attention to the news, rubber gloves or latex gloves or non-latex gloves, nitrile gloves, masks,
Yeah.
equipment in whole have gone up 500 and 600%. So the cost of doing business has skyrocketed. And for most of the listeners, I think for most of the public, they really don't seem to care or understand what's going on with the economy of healthcare. But for example, no matter what that doctor's fee schedule is, let's
Yes.
just say I charge $100 to have your teeth cleaned.
Yeah.
Well, 90% of the insurance companies out there today, dental insurance companies, have a fixed fee. That fixed fee can be anywhere from $39 to $59.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
doctor's fee schedule has no bearing on care. And anyone who has any basic knowledge and information about capitalism, once you lose control of your fee schedule, in my opinion, you've lost control of your business.
Yes.
So, for
Yeah.
example, if it costs more money to operate this radio show, you can go to sponsors and charge more money for advertising. Pretty much any business on the planet can adjust their fees to correspond to expenses. In healthcare, that's a fallacy. In other words, as the dental hygienists want to make more money, the clinical assistants want to make money, your administrative staff want to make more money, your dentists want to make more money.
Sure.
If your fee schedules are fixed, how do you change that equation? In other words, it used to be the old adage where if, let's say, Dr. Coughlin charged $100, you could go down the street, and if Dr. Smith charged $90 and provided better care and service, you'd probably switch. But today, quite honestly, if you're in network, which most dentists and healthcare providers are, you're in
Yes.
network, you're mandated by law to charge that same fee.
Oh, I gotcha.
So let's
And
just
in
say
order to and in order to be successful, basically, you really have to be in network, don't you?
Well, you could argue the answer is no, but in the real world, most people in my 38 years of being in business and self-employed, the first thing they do is they go to their insurance company and see who's in network. So
Yeah.
if Bob Plass is in network and Kevin Coughlin isn't, their first stop in most cases is going to be Bob Plass's office. Now, if Bob provides at least an average care and service, then I would say that Dr. Coughlin's never going to see Bob Plass. Where Dr. Coughlin sees Bob Plass is they walk into an office, and that office may not have the most up-to-date equipment, the most up-to-date supplies, the most
The
up-to-date
magazines. I need the magazines that are up to date.
Yes, and today we can't even put magazines in the reception room because of infection control issues.
Oh my
So the
God.
magazines have been removed. So I
Holy-
can't even say that when you walk into Bob Plass's office and he has a Reader's Digest from the 50s is a pretty good reflection that you might not be up to pace with what's new and updating. And the
Yes,
other thing
right.
in this profession, like many professions, what does a patient know about up-to-date equipment? What do they actually really understand? And after 38 years, I think what they understand is, did they like the person that was providing care? Did they trust the person who was providing care?
Yeah.
And did they feel that they had a procedure done relatively comfortably or pain-free?
Pain. Yeah. That
Eyes
the
are
word
10 years
pain
old or
there.
1 day old. The patient doesn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
When the continuing education of the office and the doctors, the patient really doesn't know that.
No.
For example, for the last couple of weeks, we've been exploring digital dentures. And basically, about 60
Digital
million people in
dentures.
our country have no teeth or missing many teeth, and they have a removable prosthesis that they're functioning with. And for the last 100 years, we've been making dentures and partial dentures a specific way, a series of impressions and fittings. And today, with the 3D milling and printing machines and the sophisticated hardware and software, we now are able to scan the inside of the mouth and create a digital denture in perhaps the most accurate possible methods available today. And we have that ability to do it in reduced time with stronger materials and better results. And again, the problem with technology is it's expensive. And the problem with our healthcare system now is everybody wants the best and the latest, but with a fixed fee network from insurance companies, it's very difficult for the practitioner to provide that higher level of care when they know that the basic fee won't cover the the procedures.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
I mean, I have
So
the
what do you
ability.
do? What's the
Well,
result?
I think the way to do it is you're trying to educate the public, which is
Mhm.
very, very difficult, as you know. I have a voice once a month that you've in your facility has been kind enough to let me talk about healthcare and dentistry in
Always.
particular.
Always.
But in the end, that customer really isn't knowledgeable, in my opinion. You know, they can
Mm.
search Google, but the actual customer is just assuming that they're going to be able to buy a Rolls Royce, a Ferrari, a Porsche for $10,000. Now, almost every person in the world knows that that's not possible. But
Sure.
for some reason, they can assume that everyone can fix a tooth for $39. And for some reason, that's the strength of marketing. That's the strength of advertising and getting your message across. Everybody on this planet knows that supposedly a Rolls Royce, a Porsche, a Mercedes Benz, a Jaguar, these are luxury vehicles. And because they're luxury vehicles, you pay a premium and you hope that you're getting a premium product. In healthcare, you're assuming that the hip, the new knee, the shoulder, the surgery, the techniques, the sutures, the materials, the teeth, and everything that you're receiving is a premium product. And I'm here to tell anyone who wants to listen, if you're only getting $39, then you're probably getting $39 worth of product and service. It's
Yeah, of course.
mathematically impossible to stay in business. Uh, on that concept. And what happens is you have to increase volume, you have to decrease service, and you have to decrease technology and service. Because mathematically, you can't buy a hair removal machine for $330,000 and charge $15 to do a wax removal.
That's right. Yeah.
Services and different products. And in my
Sure.
opinion, that customer or client is making a decision and saying, look, I'd rather spend $15 for the rest of my life every 6 to 8 weeks to remove hair by a wax technique, or $1,000 to do it 3 to 4 times and be done forever.
Forever.
And the
Sure.
same is in all healthcare. Would you rather have 25 adjustments on a denture or one adjustment because it's digitally processed to fit exactly the structure of your mouth?
And you know, your consumer out there, the patient, the dental patient, and during this time is probably going, wow, can I go to the dentist safely? Number one. Number two, how are my finances given, you know, that they're suffering in their own way, but also not recognizing that just because a dentist is a dentist does not mean that they're not struggling. I mean, that's the
Right. I
interesting
think
thing
all
here.
businesses are struggling.
Yeah,
It's rare that you're going to find businesses that aren't. You see the cruise lines, you see the airlines, the trickle
yeah,
down effect. But the main message today in this particular 1 hour segment of healthcare is basically to explain and educate that consumer that if you want the highest technology, you want the best, you have
Mm-hmm.
to understand that you have to have control of your fee schedule. And right now in healthcare, nobody has control of the fee schedule except the insurance companies. And in fairness
Golly.
to the insurance companies would turn to Kevin and say, hey, Kevin, if you don't like Delta Dental, don't sign up for it. And I'm going, I believe there's truth in that, but when they have 70 and 80% of the marketplace, it's
Yes.
very difficult for a business person to say no to that. And you see that happening in Amazon. You see it happening in all big controlled companies. It's very hard to compete with them. And that competition is difficult. How is Kevin Coughlin going to out deliver Amazon? They'll
Well,
squash
you're
me.
gonna clean my teeth better than anyone, and you're gonna extract my molars when I need them,
Right.
and painlessly.
We hope
I
so,
don't
but
think
in the end, we know that most consumers look at their pocketbook and say, if Dr. Smith can do it for $40 and Dr. Coughlin can do it for $80, I'm going to start with Dr. Smith.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's
No.
free market. But I
Live
think
and
that
learn.
consumer must know, maybe, just maybe, okay, you might be getting $40 worth of service and care. And the reason for that is you can't possibly provide someone with $100 of service and care if you're only getting $40 reimbursement. You can't
Very true.
have
Yes.
a facility with the latest and best equipment, supplies, infection control, because the profit margin isn't there. It's just basic. It's not
Sure.
that they're bad dentists, good dentists. It's just those are market forces, and the consumer should be aware of that.
So, Kev, when we come back, I want to talk about uh, what we do in order to solve that. And but before then, we have to take a break. And I'm going to play. I've been playing. I just played "Sweet Honey in the Rock" live at Carnegie Hall. Have you ever been to Carnegie Hall?
I have been to Carnegie Hall. Yes, I have.
Yeah. Have you ever appeared at Carnegie Hall?
I've offered, but no one's called me back at this point. But I'll keep you posted, okay?
Do you play? I mean, you could play music on a dental drill, couldn't you?
Oh,
Couldn't
yes, yes, absolutely.
Isn't there somebody that does that?
I'm sure someone out there does it, but it's not me. I can.
All right.
assure you
Okay.
that.
All right. So Carnegie Hall is on 57th Street and 6th Avenue in New York City, and it is where everybody. Somebody says you tell your kids that you practice those instruments if you want to make it to Carnegie Hall. You know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and so at any rate, I've been playing Carnegie Hall, and just in line with that, I've been reading this great book. I recommended. It's called. I just finished it the other day. Let me see if I can go here. There. It's Get Happy. Look at that. And it's Judy Garland's life story. But this is not a book for the people who want to be jumping up and down and screaming, going, "Yay, Judy Garland!" Because it really is a psychological study of Judy Garland. And I all my life I've been sort of, it's interesting that Judy and has always been followed by gay people for some reason. And after reading this, I understand in a way, because she came back. She struggled and struggled and struggled and made it, and was a survivor. And that idea of surviving in a world that's different was the way that Judy Garland, and of course, I'm reading the book, Kevin. Honest to God, she was on Demerol, Temerol, and in the end, she was on heroin. I mean, this woman was really an addict. There's actually a chapter in the book where she says, "I am an addict," and right throughout her entire life, I just was amazed that she could even come up and perform. And everybody would say, "Oh, she's done. She's left the movies. They fired her from that movie. They fired her from Valley of the Dolls." She would come back, and a lot of the times it would be with the husband who was leading her. So she gets this husband named Sid Luft, who is this kind of crook in a way, but he books her into Carnegie Hall. And she does this concert after her career is going nowhere. She's hit the skids. She spent the night before at a partying, and spent the entire night outside of the. They couldn't find her, and she was actually on the porch of this apartment with the composer Johnny Mercer, of all people, who was one of her lovers, and they spent the night together. And she went back home at sunset, and they said she's got to have this big show that night, and they didn't think she was going to be able to make it. She was about an hour and a half late for the show in her dressing room, saying, "I don't think I have a voice. I can't go out there," etc. She goes out and she delivers the most entertaining, most incredible 2 hours in show business history. If you ever want to listen to a great album, listen to Judy Garland live at Carnegie Hall. This is Judy Garland singing from Carnegie Hall. This is Come Rain or Come Shine.
I'm gonna love you like nobody's loved you. Come rain or come shine. High as a mountain, deep as a river. Come rain or come shine. I guess when you met me, it was just one of those things, but don't ever bet me, 'cause I'm gonna be true if you let me. You're gonna love me like nobody's loved me. Come rain or come shine. Happy together, unhappy together. Won't it be fine? Days may be cloudy or sunny. We're in or we're out of the money. I'm with you always. I'm with you rain or shine. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you. Come rain or come shine. High as a mountain and deep as a river. Come rain or come shine. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you. I guess when you met me, it was just one of those things. But don't ever bet me, 'cause I'm gonna be true. Gonna be true if you let me. Let me, let me, let me, let me, let me love you. Let me love you. Come rain or come shine. Happy together, unhappy together. Won't that be fine? Days may be cloudy or sunny. We're in or we're out of the money. I'm with you, baby. I'm with you, baby. I'm with you always. Come rain or
Underwriting for community radio is provided by the YMCA of Greater Westfield. Every day, the YMCA strengthens the community through programs and services focused on youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. For all the Y's many programs and services, visit us on the web at www.westfieldymca.org. the YMCA, 67 Court Street in downtown Westfield. We're more than a gym. We're a cause.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com, offering Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Information on all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area is available online at Xfinity.com.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
I did
it! Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Wow, it is Tuesday morning. It's Bastille Day, July 14th. 2020 and counting, and we are with the Duke of Dentistry, Jay Pagluka, and Pete Coles. Hey, Kevin Coughlin, Dr. Kevin Coughlin from Ascent Dental. Hey, have you ever seen the movie True Grit?
Many years ago.
You saw the John Wayne version?
Yes.
Yeah. There's another one, the Coen version, that I would recommend very highly. The Coen brothers did True Grit. And next week, for your assignment, Jessica Martin and I are going to discuss True Grit by Charles Portis. There's a book, a very short book. It's around 250 pages long, and it's by Charles Portis, True Grit. So I recommend you reading True Grit. It's a really great coming-of-age story set in the West. Very funny and really true to life. Rooster Cogburn is the Deadeye Dick, and of course we've got that young girl. Her name is Ross. What's her first name? Oh God, I can't remember. But she is this really her daughter, Maddie Ross. Her name is Maddie Ross, and very funny. We're going to read it, and then we're going to discuss both movies. So you can watch the movies, read the book, and then join us next week with Jessica Martin. But you'll be cleaning teeth, I would bet. Hey,
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of documentaries, and you're talking about Judy Garland and her tortured life, which is
tortured
in many people. They have both sides of them. I saw the special on that Roy Cohn, which is on HBO, and I obviously knew very little about him, but that was a terrific document of his life and how he was perceived on all sides of the aisle. Like most people, he had a good side and he had a troubled side. I don't know if you're aware of his history or his past.
Oh, I know the whole story.
Yeah, and I mean, he was a big proponent of Provincetown. He spent a lot of time, and in the documentary, he explained that those were some of the best years of his life, spending time in Provincetown, but a very interesting documentary. And,
he was an attorney who was really the teacher for Roger Stone, of all people, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And he was really anti-gay, and he was really out there about gay folks, when in reality he really he was a gay man, and he ended up getting AIDS.
Yes.
And he's a character in Angels in America by Tony Kushner. If you ever want to run another wonderful movie, he is a character in there, and you sort of see this manic man who also, the end was always, the winning was always the thing. And whether you lie or whatever, you attempt
the ends
to
justified the means.
The ends justified the means. Exactly right. So what's on Netflix or?
I thought it was on HBO. I could be
HBO.
wrong,
I gotta
but,
look for it.
If you just search, Roy Cohn, I thought it was done very well, and it showed all sides of his persona. It didn't just focus in on the negative.
No, because he was a fantastic lawyer, and he dated Barbara Walters as well, so he can't be all that bad.
There you have it.
Yeah. Hey, so I have to go in for a cleaning in a couple of weeks. Should I be concerned?
I think all of us have to be concerned. But that's true of everything we're doing. Right now, we're doing this radio show from our home.
Yeah.
And the question is could we do it in the studio safely? And in my opinion, we could. But if there's no reason to take unnecessary risks.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I think most people know that the dental profession, we're having our patients sit in the car. When they arrive at the office, they call us on their cell phone, and when the operatory or room is ready, they're escorted. Before they're escorted into the operatory, we're not letting people sit in the reception room because there's just no need to take that risk.
Sure.
A temperature is taken. We've asked that if anyone has left the state of Massachusetts, that they inform us. Obviously, people now are on vacation. So when our team members have taken a vacation out of the state,
right,
they have to have a COVID test. We have to be able to see that test by a doctor's note that it's negative, because the public has a risk from me as a dentist. They
Right.
have a risk from my team members,
Right.
and we have a risk from these people coming in that, quite honestly, you have to screen them. So we ask the same, basically 10 questions. Then we take a thermal image of their forehead to get a temperature read, and then they're escorted into the operatory. And as I mentioned on previous shows, we have an outside company called CleanWorks that comes in and sprays the entire office, the floor, the ceiling, the walls. If you think about trying to wipe things down, that's great, but it's not as effective as a spray that actually touches all surfaces. Again, another expense, but for the safety of not just our patients, but of ourselves, I think it's a good procedure, along with the heating and HV system being reconfigured for different filters to filter the air 24 hours, 7 days a week, ultraviolet lights to kill bacteria and viruses. All of these are additional add-ons that I don't even know if the public knows is potentially going on, but these are things that dental and medical offices, I assume, are at least researching and implementing or considering implementation.
Right.
We've done it at Ascent Dental Care. I'm not saying that makes us better or smarter. It's just your level of comfort. We're a relatively larger organization, so we see a higher volume of people from various areas because of our training and our expertise. And you just have to take these precautions, in my opinion. So when you're
Right.
going to your office for a hygiene visit, I would like to think that they won't let you sit in the reception room. The
Right.
reception room won't have magazines because they'd be touched without any protection. And the rooms have to be disinfected and cleaned between patients. And you try to accomplish even the simple task of filling out a form. Are you using a pen? And if you are, that pen should only be handled with rubber gloves or latex gloves or non-latex gloves,
Right.
because of the allergies of latex out there. And you try to avoid as much personal contact as possible and
You have
minimize the time
hand
involved.
sanitizers everywhere, Doc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for someone like our organization, there really hasn't been an enormous amount of change. I will say treating the air in the HVAC system, that's new.
Yes.
This company, CleanWorks, coming in and spraying our entire facility, those are things that I did not have prior to COVID.
Yeah,
But during
most
the last
people
3 or
did.
4 months, you're looking at these things and saying, what can we do to protect not just ourselves, but our patients?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not perfect, but what you're doing is minimizing or reducing the risk as much as possible.
Do you have your patients wear a mask until they open their mouths to have you
Yes.
go in?
Yes. And I would believe that when you go into your healthcare, they would be requesting and requiring you to wear a mask.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my understanding certainly in the state of Massachusetts.
Sure.
So, if I'm
Sure.
going into the dry cleaners, I'm wearing a mask. If I'm going into wherever, I'm wearing the mask. And now,
Sure.
obviously, the next thing we do is once Mr. and Mrs. Smith remove the mask, we usually have them do a 30 to 60-second rinse to reduce the bacteria
I noticed
in
that.
their mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
And,
very good idea. Yeah.
you can use over the counters, or you can use prescriptions called PerioGuard, which is a
Mm.
chlorhexidine rinse. But again, one might cost 20 cents and the other costs $3.
Yeah.
And again, you always are weighing the cost value. In other
Yeah.
words, if it's costing you $3 for the mask, $3 for the gloves, $3 for the uniform, $3
Holy.
for the rinse, and you haven't even seated Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and the hygienist is getting $40 an hour plus $10 in benefits, and the insurance company is reimbursing you $49, you immediately realize that this is not a profitable situation.
Yes. Yeah.
You're seeing that throughout healthcare. I mean, if you were to do a study right now, you'd find that more Americans than ever are not going into the healthcare field. It would be like in today's environment, how many people are signing up to be police officers?
That's true.
It's not a great time.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
And I think that's going to have some dramatic effects on the quality of care. And
as you were talking, I was thinking, does the coronavirus exist in saliva?
Yes.
And I remember somebody once saying that saliva would kill viruses or some things. I don't know. Maybe.
No, the answer is in saliva. There are numerous enzymes that can protect not just the teeth and the gums.
Right.
But the answer is can the virus droplets exist in saliva from, let's just say you're going to go get your teeth cleaned.
Right.
And that dentist or dental hygienist can use a piezo cleaner, like a fancy water pick.
Oh, yes, sure. That's what she does. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes they'll refer to it as a cavatron. And those droplets have an effect on infection control. So sometimes the offices are no longer using those particular machines for their routine hygiene because of the aerosol that is created doing those types of cleanings.
Sure.
So I'm sure over the course of your years of getting dental care, they may have used some of these instruments that spray water to remove the bacteria and plaque from your teeth.
I remember.
That aerosol gets spread into that treatment room or operatory and can land on your clothes, my clothes, the walls, the equipment. Hence why at Ascent Dental Care, we instituted CleanWorks coming in with this spray.
Right.
Because it's impossible to wipe every surface and get everything. And this spray seems to be a very effective way to reduce bacterial and viral counts in the facility.
So I heard that some people were gargling with bleach and all that sort of stuff, getting the wrong message from who. But I wondered if the gargling with regular medical, what do you call it, Listerine
any
or something?
over-the-counter or OTCs for over-the-counter will reduce the bacteria. People could also take a little bit of hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. The problem with that is that typically is like a bleach, and if you're not careful, you'll burn your tissues. But most people who have done tooth whitening are using a hydrogen peroxide type compound to whiten their teeth.
Yes.
And, the hydrogen peroxide that you get at any pharmacy, generally it's a capful of hydrogen peroxide to a 6 to 8 ounce glass of water gargle and rinse with it for 10 to 30 seconds, and it'll reduce the bacterial count in your mouth. And I would think when you go to your dentist, that dental hygienist or dentist will probably say, would you mind just rinsing to reduce that that aerosol, to reduce the numbers of bacterial and viruses in that aerosol spray.
It might be good to then gargle at the end of it as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, or when you're home or whatever. Yes. And certainly wash your hands after you've left the office, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, I think you can, I was listening to Jim Gaffigan, the comedian.
Sure.
And he had just done a show in Japan. And basically what he was touting is he couldn't believe the hygiene in Japan, how clean the restrooms were, how clean the cities were, how just immaculately clean the overall country was.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he went on to discuss how disgusting it can be to use a public restroom here in the United States.
Oh my God, you've hit on that. Yeah. Really?
And what you're mentioning is some of these outbreaks that you're seeing in the United States just come down to personal hygiene. Maintain your hands clean, maintain just cleanliness on yourself. And
shut it. And this is something I found out this week. I was watching, I've started watching Breaking Bad. I'm into season 2 of Breaking Bad. Wow. Have you ever seen that?
I certainly have.
Oh my God. Well, it seems like every program they show a bathtub or a toilet in a bathroom. And I have to turn my face away because they're sitting there and they're touching the toilet, et cetera, et cetera. So at any rate, in the New York Times a couple of weeks ago, they had, should we go to a public bathroom, et cetera, because I get so phobic about this sort of thing. And one of the things that they said that I never really realized was this aerosol plume that comes from the toilet. And the reason why you don't flush a toilet unless the seat is down. Did you know that?
I did.
All these years, all these men and the women are complaining about their father leaving or their son leaving the seat up, the men in the house leaving the seat up. Don't do it, you guys. Shut the cover. It's like a mask for the toilet. I had no idea.
Yeah. And I mean, these are simple things, but it's very difficult for our culture to change. I mean, when you walk down and I don't want to get into the subject, but when you see homeless people on the street, I say to myself, boy, this is terrible, but the potential infectious spread of people either defecating, urinating, living, eating, sleeping on the street, the effect and spread of these things has to be enormous. And for some reason in our culture, that doesn't seem to arouse anyone. They're more looking at it like, well, geez, we need to get them more money, more services. And I'm sitting here saying the actual cleanliness, the potential risk to people is enormous. You wouldn't see that in Japan. It's just a cultural thing, and even in the United States, I'm 62 years old. Yeah. I don't actually remember seeing the number of people homeless sitting on streets. I'm sure there were poor. I'm sure there were uneducated. I'm sure there were people doing it, but the stigma associated with that was so strong that I don't think they showed those things on main streets and busy streets. Today, I don't think anybody cares. It's just like, this is where I want to sleep. And if it's in front of your store or business or on a main street, I'm going to sleep there. It's a different set of values, a different culture that, in my opinion, is affecting our entire country. And
that's why we have to spend our time sort of changing working on culture change in its own way. It's an important thing for all of us to realize, and maybe the virus has gotten us to a point where we have to sort of look at things and say, hey, wait a minute, we're not doing it the right way. Let's find another way. Maybe there's another way to do this. Maybe
you know what the bottom line is, Bob? The bottom line is personal responsibility. Have
Culture-
pride in yourself.
Yes, unfortunately, though, in a society, and I don't know what you feel on this, Kev, but I think that how do we teach personal responsibility? You don't punish. You've got to start young.
You hold
and,
people accountable for stuff.
Um,
If a kid steals $5 out of your wallet and you're a parent, you deal with it.
Well, true.
You don't have somebody else deal with it.
Yeah. What do you think on this, Kev?
I would lean more towards Pete.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we're listening about the Redskins and their name change.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying to myself, you're $1 billion company. What the hell are you wasting all this money and time on a name? Why don't you go to the reservations and just build a beautiful school? Why don't you put money? The name, I guess, is important, but if I was to prioritize where my dollars were going, I think that the people could use the money more than a name change. Now, once you get those articles under control, then maybe you can deal with name changes. But unfortunately, for
Dealing with
me,
poverty,
I
that's
listened
what
to
you're
my
saying.
mother and father. I
Yeah.
watched how they conducted themselves in public. I watched how they reprimanded myself and my brother. And that, whether you agree or disagree, is what I've carried on with my 3 young adults now, but when they were children. And those lessons have stayed with me. Like, I would never eat with my mouth open. I would
Mhm.
never lean on the table with all my hands and elbows. I would not interrupt an adult if they were speaking, even if I disagreed. I would wait until the conversation was over. And my mother and father would say, you don't interrupt. You let people speak their mind. And then when they're done, you express yourself. Those are things that I just learned from my parents. Now, you could argue whether they're good or bad, but that's how I learned. There was a mentoring and teaching. And I think we all need that in our professions. I'm sure you, as an actor, looked up to people who mentored and taught you.
Mentored and modeled.
You looked at-
Mentoring and modeling.
Yes. And that mentoring and modeling, I think, is going on. I just don't know if it's the right modeling and the right mentoring. They're still out
really
there.
hard.
I just don't know if those are the right people we should be modeling and mentoring.
Yeah.
That's
No. It's so true. I mean, you can't get a sense of right and wrong in a country where right and wrong, or truth and fact, are now so taken so lightly, so lightly. I found a thing earlier about what it takes to be a leader, and one of the things that it said, that to ask for help, number one, number two, to listen, and number three, I think was important, is to empathize and really be teaching compassion, and having our leaders be compassionate and understanding. I don't know how we get that or whatever, but we all need to model that compassion in some way.
For
I don't think
example,
the
if we
kids
were to
even know what
take-
the word means.
You want your
Right.
leaders
If
to be
we were
leaders.
to take Black Lives Matters, for example,
Yeah.
as we digress from health. Now,
Yeah.
who knows, when you look at research as a physician of the mouth, you know you have to be critical of research. But to give you some examples, I went back from 2008 to present. In the average number of killings by police officers in the United States, the average was
Right.
around 1,100 per year.
That's true.
And out of that 1,100, okay, about 26 to 30% are African Americans. So basically, you're looking at about 200 to 300 deaths per year. And then I went through and I looked for how many police encounters are there in the United States on average from 2008 to present. And there's 54 million. I'll repeat that slowly, 54 million encounters. And out of the 54 million encounters, there were roughly 200 to 300 deaths of African Americans at the hands of police.
Mm-hmm.
Then they broke that down, and some of those deaths occurred because of a baton. The
stick, the
perpetrator was
nightstick that
hit with a baton.
Yeah.
Some were killed because of a taser. That electric shock created a heart attack. Some
Mhm.
were killed by gun. Some out of that 200 were killed because the perpetrator actually pulled a gun, not a knife, an actual gun on the officer. So the point I was trying to make is I went from a statistical standpoint, purely statistical, it was 0.0002%.
Right.
And what I feel is if I fix 1,000 teeth today, I know I'm going to have one or two mistakes. If I fix 10,000 teeth, I'm going to have 100 or so. You never can get down to zero. But I'm thinking to myself, if we're at 0.0002%, that's not acceptable. You'd like it to be zero, but those are hard figures to close an entire country, to disrupt thousands of businesses, and to traumatize and abuse totally perfectly innocent people. For example, if you want to protest, I'm going, I didn't do anything wrong. Why do you want to protest in front of my office? You're closing my business down. You're preventing me from providing services and care. You're preventing me from paying my employees or team members. And who knows whether the information I'm spouting is actually accurate? You just go and you read and you assume that some of this information is true, but based on from 2008 to present, those are pretty incredible statistics.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, geez, that's not great. No mistakes.
The idea here is that when we have such a visible example of racial violence, that it is not necessarily it's a symbol of something, and it's a symbol of what we need to talk about in America is the idea of difference and how we welcome other people who are different. And because it's a symbol, and it's really funny how symbols work. Some symbols just get, it's sort of like a fad or something. This is not a fad now, and unfortunately, the police. This situation with the police, the very good police of America, the wonderful police of America, the majority of them, okay, and even if it's a tiny bit, but the majority of police are fine. The mechanism by which we begin to look at what poverty does and accessibility to success, etc., it's become the mechanism by which we begin to sort of say, hey, we've got to do something about poverty in America. And poverty in America right now has to do with with race. Unfortunately, race and poverty go together, and
education.
And quite honestly, the education of American children and adults and guys like myself, old white privileged guys, we need to continue to be educated, and that's why I'm doing my best to learn about what difference means. To me, I need to know that. I need to be aware. I need to have that filter on so that I look through the eyes of someone else sometimes and try to be better. We can be better in America. We don't have to have poverty and racial tension in America if we begin to really talk to one another. And unfortunately, I hear you. I hear that economic slant to what you're saying, as well as the idea of bad mouthing an entire race or generation or whatever for a small group of people. But what I'm saying here is that the symbol, I think, is important. And I don't know. That's my take on it. What do you think?
Well, I think anybody who's willing to talk and listen, you're going to get results. And I think sometimes frustration builds, and you say to yourself, people aren't going to listen, so I'm going to react.
Yeah.
I'm going to attack. And that's unfortunately, it may get attention, but I think in the long run, it may do more damage than good.
Yeah.
I think most people, at least from the narrow view of my own life, most people that I associate with and am around, they're fairly open-minded. That's just how I was raised. I never remember my mother and father ever talking about black or white,
no,
Catholic, Protestant.
No. No, we didn't talk difference at all.
It never came up. It was
it never came up.
And I lived, in my opinion, a fairly sheltered life. But now that I'm 62 years old, I still don't look at it like, oh, I hired a black woman today or a white woman, or I hired a young man or a gay man. I just hired someone. It didn't matter to me. I always I call it BLT. I want to believe you, I want to like you, and I want to trust you. The other thing to me,
the thing there is the trust, and we have to trust in a culture, and a culture that's been a little skewed for years, and how to build that trust. And Kev, I hear you, and I think that the only way to do it is with dialogue.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to have people willing to dialogue and listen.
And not scream and not shout and just say, okay, maybe you've got a couple of good points here, and I have a couple of good points. But in
that's
the
exactly
end,
right.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to help people and do something better rather than something bad. For those people who get enjoyment out of hurting other people, then I'm saying to myself, I think you're on the wrong track. You're always going to build a better coalition by bringing people in, not isolating them.
That's exactly right. Hey, Kevin, we've wasted another entire hour. In fact, I think we've gone past our time.
Term from wasted. Okay, we're not going to use that. Okay,
no, wasted is not.
Okay, I'm too proud. I enjoyed another hour with the three of you. I hope our listeners did.
Wait a minute. Let's tell everybody where you are. You're at AscentDental.com.
I'm Ascent Dental Care, Ascent Dental Solutions, and Ascent Laser Aesthetics. We have 3 locations, 2 in East Longmeadow, 1 in Longmeadow. We're open from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 5 on Friday, and
you are on the radio.
Yes.
Once a month with me.
Once a month.
I love it.
Look forward to it. And I say it often. I really appreciate the opportunity you gave me. I enjoy it. It's a break from what I do on a day-to-day basis. And I think Jay, Pete, and yourself are doing a wonderful thing for the community.
And thanks.
Personally. And I greatly.
I appreciate that. And so be safe, and we will talk in a month. Meanwhile, let's go out with, why don't we play Dan Fogelberg live at, Kevin, goodbye and thank you. Dan Fogelberg live at Carnegie Hall. This is Old Tennessee. Hey, everybody, get out there and volunteer or donate and be safe. Wear those masks, and I'll see you on the next show. Okay? Bye-bye.
When strong and never doubted. Maybe I feel changes coming on. I know that I will soon be gone, and you don't even want to talk about it. Ooh, that makes me stop and wonder why people get their hearts and turn around and say goodbye. There's something on your mind you gotta say while there's time. Someone leaving when I see that morning sky. Did we ever come to this? There's nothing more than your kisses and more. Late nights in the kitchen, I'll pretend that I still care, but we both know there's nothing there, and you just keep on staring at the door. Ooh, that makes me stop and wonder why people when I see that morning sky. When I see that morning sky, you power lovers all along, got a good thing going strong, never doubted. Hey, I feel changes coming on. I know that I will soon be gone, and you don't even want to talk about it. No, 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 no. Ooh, that makes me stop and wonder why people give their hearts and turn around and say goodbye. There's something on your mind, you better say it while there's time. Someone even when I see that morning sky. See that morning sky.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160